Here is TV's latest star in the making, cast in the title role of a detective series with a difference. Sam Saturday is a Jewish detective with a divorce, 2 kids and a devoted Jewish mother.
Mom, I don't need my socks ironed.
A press, that's all. I'm giving him a press.
In his freshly pressed socks and shabby Mac, handsome Sam's destined to become the heartthrob copper.
I know all your books were destroyed. We'd like to have a look at last year's.
The first thing to know about him is the real name is not Sam Saturday.
It's actually Sam Stern. But when I was in police training college, there was a guy there who didn't like me, discovered I was Jewish, and decided to use that as a way of making me work on Saturdays.
It's an expensive business, a lot riding on the broad shoulders of Ivan Kaye, television star for the very first time. And this is a position he's not used to. No, not quite. I really had only done a couple of tellies, and those tellies that I had were pretty much, well, come along, dear, if you could just stand there and we're off. Shake the gate. And I think, oh, have I done? Am I done? And when I came on here knowing that I was actually going to be given a little more leisure, I think on the first couple of days there were a number of occasions. One particular instance, he said, if you'd like to walk away from the camera, Ivan. And so I walked away. And as I walked away, I kind of cheated my head round like you do in the stage, to make sure the audience didn't lose sight of you. And he said, no, Ivan, when I say walk away from the camera, just walk away. You can just tell it. I said, oh, right, sorry, mate.
Well, Sam Saturday's a big break for actor Ivan Kaye. It's his first TV starring role, and he's here with us. Well, what about this, living with your mum? I mean, that doesn't quite go with the hard-nosed detective image, does it? How does he get treated down at the police station?
Well, I think ultimately you have to juggle the schizophrenia in your life by when you have a competent way at work. Sometimes when you go home, you're quite vulnerable. And certainly in this case, I'm supposed to be the cool dude who solves cases and comes up trumps, but when I get home, there's Mum, and I turn into a little boy again.
And she looks after you?
She overlooks after me, yeah, she does.
And what kind of man is he? Is he a very sort of likeable chap?
I'd like to think so, yeah. Likeable, good at his job, but unsuccessful in his social life. I've ruined a marriage. I've got 2 kids I only see on weekends.
And you've got your mum living at home. That doesn't help.
Mum. Yeah.
Now, it's a really big break for you, isn't it? Because you haven't had any sort of big TV roles before. How on earth did you land it?
I went along for a squeaky little part in a television where I gave my 3 lines to the casting person, and when I got to the end of it, I was supposed to be a sort of doctor, and I had my hair down to here and my leather jacket on. And I knew I wasn't really appropriate for the part. And so to damage limited the terrible rejection of being turned down, I said, I'm not right for this, am I? I can't be right for this. But now I've met you, you'll probably give me a big, gorgeous job soon. And sure enough, the next time that casting lady had anything to do, I was in there.
That's incredible. I mean, that sort of thing just doesn't happen.
Didn't like
Well, it did to you.
Yeah.
You don't want to stab a copper?
I don't really care, mate.
What do I?
Wow, tense stuff, Ivan.
Yes, pretty gorgeous.
You're not exactly an overnight success, are you? You've spent, what, 5, 6 years in theatre?
5 years, 6 years being discovered, yes. Yes.
What made you go into the whole world of showbiz, or theatre, whatever you like to call it?
I guess because I was inane enough as a child to remember all the adverts with all the music and all the movements. And my parents thought they must direct my only talent somewhere. And so they're very supportive, and I ended up doing it.
Your parents ran a hostel for delinquents, yeah?
They ran a whole host of hostels
Right.
through pretty much all the social services departments, from mentally ill, mentally handicapped, ex-cons, the full gear. And so I lived in hostels all my life, had about 30 or 40 brothers and sisters, all of varying types and natures.
There's clearly a relationship between what you do as an actor and your background. What has that background brought to you, do you think?
I think it brought a lot of I suppose it's brought me a terrible hatred of bigotry in general. Not just, I'm talking about the Jewish angle, but just judging people on what kind of clothes they wear, what colour they are. In our hostel, there were a host of pretty scary-looking dudes there, and as they would walk me down to the corner shop, people would step off the street. But I'd become sort of blind to that side of it, and that's something I've carried on.
You're now the star. What's it like? What's it feel like?
It's probably gorgeous if I were the kind of person that went out a lot, but being sort of 10 weeks deep in fatherhood, I'm an indoor man at the moment, what can I say? And loving it.
Great. Well, thanks very much indeed
Thank
for
you.
coming in and talking to us.